What's up everybody, it's CJ, and I'm back with another Pleasantville renovation video. So today, we're going to be renovating another trailer. So this one was kind of expensive, y'all. I only had around 1,000 simoleons to furnish it, which is not a lot of money at all. Like, these lots are kind of expensive, y'all. This is a house that I'm furnishing for a young writer. So I actually have a storyline for this house. So the story that I have is that this sim is coming up on their last semester of university. They're studying English, but they want to be a writer, so they're taking like a writing class. And the final exam, or like the final project for the year, is to pitch a novel. So you have to like write one and like actually have it ready to go, like as if you were going to like pitch it to a publishing agency or whatever. So the professor is like, basically write a novel, pitch it to me, and then if I like it, you get a passing grade. So my sim has been stressed out for a while because he's not really started on his novel and he only has a couple months left in the semester. So he contacted his uncle and he was like, listen, uncle, I know you have a trailer that you're not really staying at anymore. Do you mind if I rent it for a while? Because I need to write a novel for my school and I need like a really calm, quiet atmosphere to write. And the uncle was like, sure, here are the keys. Don't worry about the bills. Just make me proud by passing the class, right? And getting that degree. So basically my sim just moved in and he's just trying his best to write. It was kind of unfortunate though, because I wasn't able to give him a computer, which I would have loved to either give him like a computer or a laptop. However, I was on a budget, y'all. As you will see, I got desperate really quickly with this build. So for one, I went with the blue color scheme. Blue is my favorite color, so maybe I'm a little bit biased, but I wanted something that was kind of like old, outdated, kind of like dusty looking, and maybe even a little dreary. So you'll see a lot of dark navy blues and maybe some grays here and there, and I wanted a more closed off floor plan, so I made sure to like make the kitchen its own separate room, the living room is its own separate room. This house technically has 2 bedrooms, but I only used one as a bedroom. The other one I turned into an office space because I'd imagine like he wants like a little office to actually like, you know, like do his little work or whatever. So yeah, it's more of a closed off, older trailer, very outdated. But I gotta say, y'all, I love how it turned out. Again, I did furnish it, so maybe I am also biased, but I love how it turned out. So as of now, you'll see I'll start off in the kitchen. I struggled with the kitchen. I think I might have spent the most time in the kitchen probably. So for one, the kitchen uses these really nice countertops. I never use them because they're kind of expensive. These, I think they're like 600 simoleons or 300. They're like a lot of money. Long story short, we can't afford it, so I had to get rid of them. I did copy the color of them on the country kitchen counters, and if you don't know, those are some of the cheapest ones in the game. There's actually one that is a lot cheaper than that, but that was store content, so these are like the cheapest like in the base game. And I did like the white and blue color scheme. I kind of was inspired by the countertop, so I recolored the floor. I did use these same counters, but I recolored them. Instead of them being a white and blue, it's more of like a gray and black color. I'm also using this table, and in hindsight, I should have not used it because the table with the chairs ended up being 300 simoleons altogether, and I could have used that money in a lot of other places. Like you'll see towards the end of the video, y'all, I was like going to every room. I was scrolling through the catalog, trying to see if I could find anything that could just fit. So I ended up putting like random clutter in the kitchen. So I have like paper towels in here. There's a plant in the corner. I put like little pin set on the desk in the office. Like I was really trying my best to just fill in the space with clutter because like this house ended up looking kind of empty. Like in a way, it kind of makes sense because like my sim is really only here to write. Like he's not moving in. He's not going to stay here long term. Like this is just a house that he's at so he can like write this book and then go back to school, right? So it kind of makes sense why the house is kind of empty and not super decorated. Also, this is a starter home, and starter homes, especially in The Sims 3, are, in my opinion, they're really hard to make because you either have to make it really nice and it be empty on the inside, or you have to make it small and then like it could be really nice and then cluttered and all that stuff, right? But maybe that's just me. Maybe it's a skill issue, but I find it really hard to make starter homes, like really nice, decent looking starter homes. Also, a lot of the objects in the base game are just not that good, and it's just not a Sims 3 thing, but like a lot of base game objects, in my opinion, across all Sims games are kind of bad, you know, especially the cheap stuff. Cheap stuff is usually going to be bad anyway. It's going to either look really old or really run down, or your Sims, it's going to take them longer to get stuff done. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? I just feel like for Sims 3, it's just really hard to make a decent looking starter home. But I prevailed again with this one. So this one is technically, I feel like you should have 2 Sims that live here, because if you want like money to do stuff. But this is cheap enough for 1 Sim to move in. So you'll have around like 40 simoleons, 43 simoleons, I think, if you have 1 Sim that lives here. Or at least that's what Elliot had at the end. He had like 40 simoleons. So it's affordable for 1 Sim. But if you had 2 or maybe even 3 Sims, you could definitely furnish this a lot more. But as of now, I'm moving on to the office, so there's not much I could do in here, y'all. I gave my Sim a desk, a chair. He has like a little love seat and a big rug to kind of fill in some floor space. I did go back and I added a little calendar on the wall. I also gave him a clock, which I never put clocks in my Sim builds. And then I also gave him like that little pin. It's like clutter, but it's like the little like cup with the pins and stuff in it. So I kind of wanted some like office clutter in there. I gave him like a little lamp as well. I kind of wanted it to look like a little office space, you know? This is around the time when I was kind of jumping around to different rooms because I realized that I was really almost out of money. So you'll see like I went back to like the middle section and kind of made this into like a little makeshift living room. It's more like a hallway, but it could be a hallway / living room, you know? I used a really big couch in the hallway. I put another one of those big carpets. I did have enough money for a TV, so I used a cheap one from the base game. Again, very outdated, but it kind of fits the theme of the build anyway, you know? And I also wanted to have a bookshelf because I'd imagine like maybe my Sim, you know, wants to read, maybe get some inspiration from other books. Like he's not copying the other books or anything, but he's just getting like inspo. Like, oh, maybe I could write this kind of novel, or maybe I could use this character as inspiration for my characters or whatever, you know? So I gave him a bookshelf. This one is one of the cheapest ones in the game. I thought that the little small one was the cheaper one, but apparently it's this one, so I made sure to use it. You'll see that the bedroom goes through a lot of changes. Like, I think the room that I didn't really have to do much for was the bathroom, because luckily we had a shower, we had a toilet, and then we also had a sink. The only thing I really did for the bathroom was I recolored the wallpaper that was in here. Again, I was on a budget. I couldn't really like place down new wallpaper. I mean, I guess I could have, but I didn't want to go over the budget. I also gave a rug and I also gave a mirror in here too, just for some little, you know, decor here and there. It's just not a lot going on in the bathroom. But for the bedroom, I struggled with the layout, y'all. So at first, I knew I wanted a bookshelf in here, but then I also wanted a dresser. But the cheapest dresser, or at least the cheapest one in my game, is the one from Supernatural. It's like 300 simoleons, and I didn't have enough money for it. I ended up having to delete some like plants outside, like those 2 big trees that you see. I deleted them and I replaced them with cheaper versions of them. So like I think those trees were like 200 simoleons, something like that, and I think the ones I'm using are like 100, I think, something like that. So I kind of like replaced those trees with cheaper versions. I was trying to like honestly all like get money from anywhere I could. There's even like an extra window in the kitchen that I got rid of, and then I ended up like taking one of the windows from the office and I moved it to the wall where the kitchen was just to fill in more wall space. It was a lot going on in here. I made sure to get a base game bed. I'm also using this little end table from the pets pack. It's really cheap. I really like using it just in general, so I was like, maybe we can use it in here. And then I also found those plants. I think it's from the Bayside set, I want to say. I use it a lot. It's only 32 simoleons, so it's really cheap, and it fills in a good amount of space anyway. So I used it in the kitchen. I also used it in the bedroom. And then, yeah, this is just me now, y'all, deleting those trees. I told y'all I struggle. Even with the landscaping, I was struggling. So I used those like 1 simoleon hydrangeas. I used like the white ones and I put them in the front yard. I also used some of those low-lying blue plants as well. I did slightly change the landscaping after I finished recording. You'll see it in the screenshot. All I really did was the tree on the right-hand side, I moved it towards the middle of the like where those 2 windows are on the house, and then I put like another hydrangea on the other side. Luckily I have some cheap landscaping today. It's not the best landscaping, but listen, if your Sims move in and your Sims have money, you can always, you know, fill it in more. This is a pretty nice sized lot in general, so you have, even if you want to bulldoze this and build your own house, you could definitely do it. Like, there's a lot of space on this lot, you know? So as you can see now, this is around the time when I was able to afford that dresser. So what I ended up doing was I moved the bookshelf and I put it in the hallway. So I had to like move the door for the bedroom over a tile, so I was able to squeeze the bookshelf in the hallway because I wanted to put it in the kitchen, but it wasn't gonna look good in my opinion, so I moved it in the hallway. And then I moved the dresser where the window is, and then I was like trying to rotate the bed. It was just a lot of going back and forth trying to figure out what looked best. I found this book clutter object. It's from university. It was only like maybe 30 simoleons, I want to say, so I made sure to put that in there too, because I was like, maybe, you know, he took some books from the bookshelf. Maybe he has like his textbook from his class, you know. So I gave him some like little book clutter in the bedroom as well. But in all, I really loved how this house turned out. Again, I'm biased. I did furnish it, so maybe that's why. But I really love the way it turned out, y'all. Like I said earlier, it is a starter home, so if you only have one sim, you can move here. If you want to like renovate it or change it, feel free. I don't really care. I'm really glad that I was able to give my sim a really nice house. But anyway, y'all, that is all that I have for this video. If you did enjoy it, please be sure to leave a like, comment something down below. Follow me on Twitch, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! Thanks for watching!